Alright, so for this next part, what I'm going to be following is going to be the PSD network that Maya has enabled. So for that, I need a single material. In this case, I have a single material, which is the Pokeball, but I want to assign a new material that is going to be a blend, because I'm going to be working with specular highlights. Just for the sake of keeping this clean, this is going to be my temporary material network, and I'm going to call this network as well. And over here, what I need to do is actually invoke the UV window, so UV editor. I don't need the whole functionality over here, but I just need the image and create PSD network. So after I create that network, I can actually select the materials, and that's why I need a single one, because otherwise it's going to be creating different things. I'm going to be creating the color, and I'm also going to be creating the specular. So specular here. And let's see, that should be fine. Now what I have with this is I just need to say, where do I want to save this? This is going to be on my source images. This one is going to be my TT underscore network file. So I'm gonna hit save, and I'm gonna hit create. In some cases, it might actually open your Photoshop for you. In mine, I don't have Photoshop links like that, but I can always go to my file and open my PSD. I named the file wrong, so I'm just gonna keep it like this for a second. But as you can see, this is actually creating all of the layers for me. It created the UV snapshot, it created a background. The colors that I had here were basically like this. So that is that's basically saving a lot of time for me. It is exactly the same thing that as I did in the last video, so I'm not going to be devoting that much time onto it, but I'm going to hide this one. I'm going to work with the color first. So for my specular, for now, I'm just going to say that everything is going to be shining light exactly the same way, so I'm going to be lighting it like that. I'm going to hide that layer, and I will create my network color now. Now this color itself is going to also be based on the white. The vast majority of the Pokeball is white, so just gonna call this the white. I'm going to be making a new layer, and I'm gonna put that layer on top. So this background is really annoying. I'm just gonna make it red. So for this one, the parts that I want to color are going to be the black part. So I'm just going to go to my brush, and again, I'm not gonna be doing a great job on making this super pretty. So long I'm within the lines, I should be fine. So I don't even need my drawing tablet at this point. I will just be doing this part, and I will be doing this part. I just need to be careful not to get on top of that. So this is where a little bit more precision would go a long way. Probably I'm gonna redo this part because I was barely touching the other shell, and I don't want to have like black colors or anything. So when I enable the both of them, you'll see that I have my black, my white, and now I need my red. So this is going to be that part. Probably red wasn't a good background color to have in the first place, so I'm gonna flood these with blue, so I can make a new layer, and this layer is going to be my, well, this was black and this was named red. So here I will just go, in this case over here, if I try to paint on top of it, it's just gonna go like that, so that's not what I want. I can actually create masks as well if I wanted to. I can select on the magic wand and say, hey, select everything on the UV snapshot, everything that is not this, and then I can go to my select inverse, and then deselect, alt deselect these guys, which are going to be a different color. See, so I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna deselect these guys, these guys, these guys here. Let me zoom in, guys, these guys, and I'm doing my best to try to keep it within the compounds. So this is not going to be as precise in some cases because the tolerance is just going to get the best of me, but for now this is a super quick test. So here I'm gonna go back to my red, and now I can paint. I can flood the influences or the colors. See, now everything in here is going to be red. I can do Control D to deselect everything and then select these guys. Now, as you can see, the lines here are not like the best, so I will need more precision over there. And this seems okay, but at the same time, I'm not entirely happy with the results. So I'm just showing you this basic workflow. I can click here on the black that is going to create a mask. So in this layer, I can actually just paint it when I have it visible with black. And then now I have my shader for the specular and for the network. And the nice thing about the PSD network is that I don't really need to, so long it's visible, Maya is going to be able to separate the channels, and so I can just hit save. And when I go back to Maya, actually I don't want to have anything selected, so let's save once again. That doesn't need to. So once I have that, just like this, when I go back to Maya and I say, hey, please update that PSD network. So under UV editor, image update PSD network, that is going to be bringing the texture that I just created in Photoshop. As you can see, the red is not great because of the selection that I did, so I would need to go back to Photoshop and hide my network, and probably didn't get away with just making these lines by hand. Oh, I'm painting on the UV snapshot. That's silly. So I'm gonna click on the red and I Control D to deselect. So I'm gonna be painting this part, just making sure that I have my selection open. So in some cases it's gonna work. If the tolerance is not in the right sweet spot, then this is not gonna work perfectly, but yeah, that was just a quick test to show you how you can actually select things quickly, but the borders are going to be really messed up. So with that, we'll enable all of these once again. I will go File, Save, and when I go back to Photoshop, or sorry, to Maya, that didn't update my network, but I can easily just go here and say Reload, and that is just going to reload my texture. Now there's a couple of things that are actually off, and one thing that is really bad and is happening here, didn't happen in the in the PNG file, is that this transparency, it's also coming from the file, and even though I don't have any transparencies, my alpha was completely on, so I can just really easily say break this connection, and that's gonna fix my shape. I will need to fix up this texture, and once I'm done, see, I painted over here, which is why it was telling me that I made a mistake. So I can just really easily fix that part in here, and I can sort of make sure that everything is within the lines. So I can paint. I'm gonna get rid of this texture in just like a minute, but this is how OCD I am. I wanna have everything perfect, even for a temporary file that I'm just going to be throwing away in a minute. But okay, so that should be fine. I'm going to hit save once again. This time around, I might want to go to my file, save as, and instead of a PSD, I want to save a PNG or even a JPEG. Let's do a JPEG because I want to overwrite a PNG later. So I'm going to save a JPEG. This time around, this is going to be my D_Pokeball base color. Actually, this is going to be the specular, so S. And I'm also going to reopen my PSD network. So, oh, actually I didn't save. So file, save as, JPEG, the Pokeball S. This again is a PNG, so JPEG. So I don't overwrite the other one. save it, and now this one is going to be my file, save as JPEG theme Pokeball base color JPEG. Asking for my JPEG options. I think that I saved the snapshot on top of the other one, which would have been bad, so I'm just gonna go file save as once again. This is gonna be a JPEG, and I'm gonna override my specular, so just to play safe. Yep, I wanna replace it. Now inside of Maya, I can actually select the different material, so I can just go here and say break this connection, because that's where the texture got created. So I can say a break this connection, and then break this connection as well, and assign the new texture that I just created. So that's going to be under file, browse for the file that I just made, which was the JPEG. So base color JPEG here, and then the specular is also going to have that connection that I want to break. So break connection, click on this, assign a new file, and assign a new texture. So that is going to be on my Pokeball as JPEG, and there you go. I have the other Pokeball. All right, so I'm going to increment and save. I'm actually gonna save this as 10. PSD Network Workflow. So save as. That is another way of creating my texture. I'm going to show you a combination of both that is going to be a little bit better than the one that I showed you here. I know that this is a Pokeball, that the actual colors aren't that complicated, but if I wanted to just write my name on top of the Pokeball like here, I could potentially do that. I can say, let me reduce the brush. I was here. Okay, so I can file, save this as a JPEG once again. Override my Pokeball S. No, it's the base color, so save that. Then go back here and then just reload that material. So reload. I was here. Now, this is something I wouldn't be able to do with just changing the materials, right? Because clearly I don't have enough resolution to just change this material and say, hey, this is black and this is white and whatnot. So this would require me to subdivide this a lot and go about my poly count. But with this, I was able to just basically write something in Photoshop that would translate directly over here. It is not precise. It is not sort of any Pokeball model that we have available, but at the same time, see, the possibility of adding these colors is there. So that's what I'm going to be working on in the next step, but first I will stop this one and see you in the next video lesson.